Welcome to the Carpenter's Voice. Today, we step into a quiet space. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders, and allow your soul to rest. This video is an experience of Jesus Christ healing while you sleep. You can completely fall asleep to the entire story of Jesus Christ. Because today, we are not talking about earth-shattering miracles. We are not standing in a loud, massive crowd. We return to the quietest place of all, the carpentry shop in the village of Nazareth. Many of us know the life of Jesus Christ through grand, cinematic portrayals, through the chosen clips or classic masterpieces like the Jesus film. But there is a quiet period that is rarely mentioned, the silent, hidden years of Jesus of Nazareth. Before becoming the awaited Messiah, he was a carpenter, a diligent worker with deeply calloused hands. Today, through this soothing voice and gentle Jesus Christ music audio, we will explore the complete story of Jesus Christ from a very different angle, a perspective from the wooden workbench. Let us listen closely to truly understand the man Jesus Christ.
That morning, an old farmer brought a piece of olive wood to the shop. It was twisted, it was rough. Right in the center was a dark, hardened knot, a massive flaw. The farmer said other builders had rejected this wood. They said it only belonged in the fire. They claimed it would break the saw blade and that it could never make straight lines. But Jesus, the carpenter of Nazareth, saw it differently. He traced his rough fingers over the swirling wood grain. He saw the history of a tree that had bravely fought the storm. He looked at the farmer and spoke. The wood that fights the hardest against the wind often holds the most beautiful grain. Instead of forcing the wood into a rigid, unnatural shape, he worked right alongside the flaw. He meticulously used a chisel to highlight that dark knot, turning a perceived weakness into the most beautiful centerpiece of the table. When the table was finally finished, the old farmer wept. This is not just a simple carpentry tale. This is one of the 10 life-changing lessons from Jesus Christ, a profound piece of Christian motivation. He knew that later in life, he would not work with olive wood. He would work with people. He would seek out the flawed, the broken, the sinful, the individuals twisted by the harsh winds of life. And Jesus Christ's teaching began right there at the workbench. He does not discard our brokenness. He makes it the very center of our salvation. Summer settled heavily over Galilee. The intense heat blanketed the olive groves. Inside the shop, he was carving an ox yoke. A yoke is an instrument of hard, grueling labor. If crafted poorly, it splinters and cuts into the animal's neck. It causes them to bleed and eventually collapse. A good carpenter knows a yoke must be measured perfectly. He chose a piece of robust sycamore wood. It was light, but incredibly strong. He spent hours smoothing the inner curves. With every stroke of the rasp, he felt the heavy weight of the plow. He felt the resistance of the dry, hardened earth. He carved curves that perfectly fit the strong shoulders of the oxen. This is a beautiful, hidden detail in the life of Jesus Christ. When the yoke was placed upon the beasts, they walked with incredible ease. The burden was heavy, but the yoke was kind. He wiped the sweat from his brow and looked far away, towards the city of Jerusalem. He saw people completely crushed under oppression. chafed by the heavy yoke of strict religious laws and deep poverty. Do you remember one of the most famous parables of Jesus Christ? Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Throughout Bible history, this is the most loving invitation ever spoken. That theology did not come from academic lectures. It was carved from sweat, dust, deep empathy at the workbench. That is the absolute core of Christianity.
Not every day in the shop was filled with the bright joy of creation. There were quiet, somber afternoons when the shadow of the future pressed down. It was midwinter. The cold wind howled outside. He was building a large chest from premium Lebanon cedar. The majestic scent of ancient forests filled the air. He placed 2 thick beams across each other to measure a joint. And then he froze. The firelight cast the shadow of the 2 beams onto the wall. It formed the chilling shape of a Roman cross. The hammer in his hand suddenly felt impossibly heavy. The fragrant scent of cedar faded away, replaced by the smell of blood, sweat, and the dust of Golgotha. The sound of the chisel suddenly echoed like iron spikes piercing flesh. This was the dark ghost of the physical death of Jesus Christ, a heavy foreshadowing of the crucifixion of Jesus. As a master carpenter, he understood wood perfectly. Wood could be fashioned into a cradle to nurture life, but it could also become Rome's most brutal tool of torture. In that profound moment, he stared at the shadow. A deep, ocean-like sadness touched his heart. He knew the exact cost of his Jesus Christ faith journey. He knew the very material he had spent his life mastering would one day be the altar for his ultimate sacrifice. But he did not turn away. He took a deep breath. He picked up his mallet and continued to strike. He would finish the work entrusted to him, whether at this humble workbench or on the cross. And then that day finally arrived. Spring brought the holy festival of Passover, but this year was completely different. The air vibrated with an unseen electric anticipation. 30 years of quiet silence had come to an end. The full life story of Jesus Christ turned to a monumental new page. The setting sun cast a warm amber glow on the tools. The saw, the plumb line, the square. Each had been a true extension of his own arms. His mother Mary stood silently at the doorway. She saw the resolute, focused light in her son's eyes. She knew, deep in her heart, that the carpenter was leaving forever. He took a simple linen cloth and carefully wiped down his tools. He oiled the saw blades to prevent rust. He swept away every bit of sawdust, leaving the shop in perfect order for the next worker. He walked over to the basin and plunged his calloused hands into the cool water, washing away the tree sap and the dirt. Soon, these very hands would break bread to feed thousands. They would touch blind eyes to bring back sight, and they would be pierced for the sins of the world, as Jesus on the cross. He walked over and stood beside his mother. He placed a gentle, rough hand on her shoulder. No words were needed between them. He looked at the quiet workshop one last time. He stepped outside and gently pulled the heavy wooden door shut behind him. The latch clicked into place, marking the dawn of a brand new era. The small shop in Nazareth fell silent. But the true work of the master carpenter had just begun on a cosmic scale. The echoes from the workbench traveled far beyond the Galilean hills. He took the flawed timber of humanity, fishermen, tax collectors, zealots, and outcasts, and carefully shaped them into the unbreakable foundation of Christianity. He traded his wooden plumb line for the perfect standard of unconditional love. He made his own life a bridge between heaven and earth through the death of Jesus Christ. Whenever you read a beautiful Bible story or listen to Christian preaching, if you listen closely in the quiet moments of your soul, you will hear the steady rhythm of a great master. He is still working. He is still carefully smoothing the rough, broken edges of our hearts. Dear friend, thank you so much for listening to this Jesus story today. I truly hope this tale brings you deep peace and stillness. You can always search for Jesus movies, full movies, or a Jesus Christ Best Moments video to feel his profound journey even more. Please leave a comment below to share your thoughts with us. If you are looking for inspiring Christian edits or Jesus edits, please subscribe to our channel. In our upcoming videos, we will explore even more fascinating mysteries, like what Mel Gibson just said about Jesus Christ from the Ethiopian Bible is shocking, or why the final words of an Ethiopian monk about Jesus Christ